Today, you're going to see my favorite movies of all time, the films that made me fall in love with cinema, and that changed the way I see it as a viewer. This won't be my most objective list, but it will definitely be the most personal one. These are the movies that have had the biggest impact on me. On Lorenzo, the person behind Cine Prime. This list won't just help you get to know me better, but also discover works that, maybe just like for me, could change your life. I'll talk about what each of them made me feel and why I believe they're all essential. So make yourselves comfortable, because today, in Cine Prime's most personal video, Heat has it all. Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, an incredible Los Angeles cinematography, and a magnificent soundtrack. Plus, when I was a kid, I played a lot of Grand Theft Auto 5, and watching this movie feels like seeing the best of that game combined with the best of cinema. Rear Window was for a long time my favorite Hitchcock film. The atmosphere and the mystery it builds are flawless. With very few elements, it creates overwhelming tension, and the resolution is just fascinating. 12 Angry Men was one of the first classic films I ever watched, with zero expectations, and yet I loved it. Its perfect script and sharp dialogue kept me on the edge of my seat the entire time. It definitely deserves all the recognition it gets. Gone with the Wind. I can't even tell you how reluctant I was to watch this film. 4 hours of romance didn't sound appealing at all, but I couldn't have been more wrong. This isn't just any love story. It's a film with deep characters, an incredible plot, a legendary score, and an aesthetic that's hard to believe came from the 1930s. And Scarlett O'Hara is, in my opinion, one of the greatest characters ever written. She's also my favorite female character.
As God is my witness, they're not going to lick me. I'm going to live through this, and when it's all over, I'll never be hungry again.
Boogie Nights has the best of both Martin Scorsese and Tarantino. It mixes dynamic storytelling and editing with bursts of ultra-violence to create a masterpiece. The ending, inspired by Raging Bull, paired with the credits music, is simply perfect. Saving Private Ryan has my favorite opening of any movie ever, and that opening is also my all-time favorite battle scene. It's raw, immersive, and fascinating, with unbeatable cinematography and direction. The Irishman is the ultimate Twilight gangster film. I was never bored for a second. From its Goodfellas-like beginning to its devastating final scenes, it completely moved me.
Don't shut the door all the way, I don't like that. Just leave it open a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Probably Scorsese's most mature film, absolutely unmissable. Unforgiven is my favorite film directed by Clint Eastwood. His character is full of nuance, and the landscapes, the framing, and the ending are all absolutely perfect. I doubt you haven't seen it, but if somehow you haven't, go watch it now. The Shining is my favorite horror film. Jack Nicholson's performance is deeply unsettling, paired with Kubrick's masterful direction and sound design that makes you jump out of your skin. It's incredibly immersive and unique. When it ends, you're left feeling disturbed and fascinated in equal measure. There Will Be Blood is a brutal, fascinating portrait of limitless greed and the inevitable self-destruction it brings. You'll notice a lot of films with this kind of theme in the video because it's something I'm obsessed with. And this movie, to me, contains the greatest acting performance in the history of cinema.
Louder! I've abandoned my child! I've abandoned my child! I've abandoned my boy!
Kill Bill Vol. 1 and 2 are, for me, the definition of ultimate satisfaction. I'm a huge fan of revenge stories, and watching Uma Thurman kill everyone who ruined her life is just absolute perfection. The stylized violence that's classic Tarantino, the perfectly synced soundtrack, the choreography, everything is masterful. The Crazy 88 sequence is, in my opinion, the best action scene in cinema history, and there's nothing more satisfying than that ending with Malagueña Salerosa, where we see Uma Thurman happy with her daughter. The Departed is, in my opinion, underrated. It has one of the best scripts I've ever seen, with incredible plot twists and, as always, flawless direction from Scorsese. And the cast doesn't fall short either. It grabs you from the first minute, and the ending leaves you in total awe. No Country for Old Men features the most realistic psychopath in cinema, according to science, portrayed in an unforgettable performance. It's brilliant from start to finish. You never know where it's heading. It's a roller coaster of emotions and a dive into the mind of a serial killer. Earlier I said, The Shining is my favorite horror film, but Psycho, I don't really see it as horror. It's Hitchcock's ultimate suspense piece. Disturbing cinematography and jaw-dropping plot twists make it a true masterpiece. I'm a big fan of dream worlds, and Inception is a wonder. The way it explores the subconscious is sublime. Breathtaking visuals and an extraordinary plot. And that ending, with the time theme, pure cinema. Persona is the father of Mulholland Drive, a surreal exploration of identity. Honestly, the first time I watched it, I didn't connect with it. I had just watched The Apartment, and let's just say they're not very similar. But the more I've returned to it, the more it's amazed me. American Beauty is the perfect tragicomedy, completely bittersweet. This film makes you reflect, laugh, and cry. The ending is devastating yet somehow hopeful. A must-watch. With Inglourious Basterds, Tarantino mastered the art of tension. Personally, the tavern scene is my favorite in the film, and one of my all-time favorites in Tarantino's career. Every scene with Hans Landa is pure cinema.
Ah, Landa, da sind Sie ja! Emmanuel, voici le colonel SS Landa.
This was my favorite movie from around age 9 to 13, until I saw Pulp Fiction for the first time. Every scene with the Joker is cinematic gold. It's the only superhero film I truly consider a masterpiece. Because honestly, I'm kind of tired of the genre. Paths of Glory is the greatest anti-war film ever made. From the trench scenes to the court-martial, Kubrick crafts every frame to perfection. It's one of the best starting points for anyone wanting to get into classic cinema and fall in love with the seventh art. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly was the first Western I ever watched, and it made me fall in love with the genre. It has a legendary soundtrack, humor way ahead of its time, and one of the best duels in cinema history. Its plot is simple, yet absolutely epic. Mad Max. Fury Road is quite simply the most mind-blowing movie I've ever seen. Its action sequences are unbeatable, prioritizing practical effects over CGI, which gives it an incredible visual power. All of it is paired with stunning cinematography and a goosebump-inducing soundtrack. It's one of the most intense cinematic experiences you can have. Sunset Boulevard is the film that solidified the genre of stories about downfall and decay, influencing Taxi Driver, Mulholland Drive, and so many others. Since it directly inspired a lot of my favorites, it had to be here. And that ending. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a very special film for me. It might sound strange, but it was the first Tarantino movie I ever saw, and I saw it in theaters. That's when I truly started getting interested in cinema. Its slow pace completely pulls you into its world, and the ending absolutely blew my mind. It shattered everything I thought I knew about movies. The Wolf of Wall Street is Scorsese returning to his unbeatable formula, a character pushed to the edge by unchecked ambition, reaching for the sky, only to come crashing down. This film makes you laugh out loud, without ever losing emotional impact. It's hands down the fastest 3-hour movie I've ever watched. The Searchers is the ultimate classic Western. I only saw it recently, and it opened up a fascinating world for me. With its Monument Valley landscapes, its dark and contradictory protagonist, and a final shot that ranks among the best in film history. The scene of the attack on the native village left me completely stunned. Double Indemnity is the pinnacle of film noir, a gripping story about an insurance agent and a femme fatale who plan a scam that inevitably leads to their downfall. Don't let the fact that it's from the 1940s put you off. It's never boring for a second. In fact, it inspired Breaking Bad in how it shows an ordinary man gradually descending into darkness. Vertigo is, without a doubt, Hitchcock's best film in my opinion. Its script hits you with 3 plot twists without warning, and the direction and cinematography are masterful. It's a brilliant exploration of obsession and how perception can be manipulated. A film that changed everything. Casino had to be on this list. Scorsese doing gangster cinema is synonymous with masterpiece. At times, it feels almost like a documentary on organized crime in 1970s and 80s Las Vegas. In fact, it holds the record for the most spoken words in a film script. Casino is a raw look at the mafia world and its consequences, not just on individuals but on society as a whole. Apocalypse now is, for me, the greatest war film ever made. It dives deep into the horrors of the Vietnam War and the madness it brings out in humanity. It also features one of my favorite scenes of all time, the village bombing set to Ride of the Valkyries. We've reached the top 20. Now we're talking about films that, for me, are absolute 10s. Works that not only left a mark on me, but completely changed the way I see cinema and understand art. Each of them conveys something unique, something I've never experienced in any other film. So get ready and take note of the ones you haven't seen, because I swear to you, they are absolutely worth watching.
Three.
Barry Lyndon. Every frame of this film is like a painting. Its cinematography might just be the greatest in all of cinema. It's contemplative. Every shot says more than 1,000 words. Barry Lyndon's story is deeply grey and human. The soundtrack, which you're hearing now, reinforces the film's melancholic tone, and the result is pure cinema. Yes, it's slow, but that's not a bad thing. It forces you to contemplate, to breathe in every scene, and it completely immerses you in the era, as if you were truly living there. Blue Velvet shows the nightmare hidden in the everyday. When I finished this film, I had that exact feeling you get after a horrible dream, but one you weirdly loved. This movie keeps leading you into darker and darker places. Just when you think you know where it's headed, it goes in a completely different direction. It's a mandatory masterpiece. Blade Runner I first watched as a kid and didn't get it. I was expecting something more like Star Wars, and I was disappointed. But watching it again later in life, I realized it's a true masterpiece. Its unique atmosphere, its slow rhythm, its philosophical depth. Now I see it as one of the greatest films ever made. The Apartment exceeded my expectations more than any other movie. I thought I'd see a light comedy, maybe even a bit boring. Instead, I found a human, profound, and emotional story that balances drama and humor perfectly, with lovable characters and a message that, without you realizing it, stays with you forever. Its ending, simple yet powerful, broke me.
Slow down. While I what? Huh? While I what? Take it easy! My husband and my little girls are dead, and I'm supposed to take it fucking easy!
21 Grams I watched very recently, and oh my god, it's a devastating drama with a non-linear narrative, showing us three people in their most broken, vulnerable states. With a stunning performance by Naomi Watts, my favorite actress, the film becomes even more realistic and immersive. What's truly masterful is how, amidst the horror of such a gut-wrenching story, the film still finds a ray of hope and leaves you with an incredible feeling.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Taxi Driver is fascinating. The way it explores the descent into madness and alienation is just brilliant. It was one of the first movies that really impacted me, with an ending that elevated the tone of the film to a level I didn't think was possible. Robert De Niro's performance is cinematic history, and the soundtrack is just as iconic. This is one of the films that most defines my taste in cinema.
Okay. Do you want to play rough? Okay. No. Say hello to my little friend!
Scarface has everything I love: violence, a story of unhinged ambition leading to a brutal downfall, Al Pacino, and that Miami 80s aesthetic. Tony Montana devours the screen, making every scene unpredictable. The soundtrack, with its strong 80s vibe, pulls you into the world completely. And the ending? Absolutely insane. The kind that stays with you forever. Once Upon a Time in the West is the most transcendent Western of all time. With its incredible soundtrack, contemplative rhythm, and weighty characters, Leone delivers a monumental work. Every silence, every shot, every look means something. It features one of my favorite openings ever, Henry Fonda killing an entire family. And the final duel is breathtaking, especially as Morricone's arguably greatest score swells and harmonica's past is revealed. Pure cinema. Schindler's List is not just a film that moves you. It's a masterclass in filmmaking, in cinematography, in character writing. Shot in stark black and white, it has an almost documentary style, making you live through the Holocaust and feel the pain of every death. The introduction of Oskar Schindler, set to the music you're hearing now, is capital C cinema.
Any problem?
No trouble. Kid stuff.
Once Upon a Time in America isn't just a gangster film. It's a movie about life itself, about guilt, nostalgia, betrayal, the weight of the past. With a masterful score by Morricone that intensifies its melancholy, the film follows Noodles from his childhood beginnings in crime to his older years, haunted by his memories. It's a must-see, a one-of-a-kind, underrated masterpiece. The Godfather obviously couldn't be left off my list. What can I say about this movie? It's perfect in every way. Michael's character is fascinating, the direction flawless, Marlon Brando's performance, the screenplay. When I first got into cinema, I looked up lists of the greatest films of all time, and I started with this one. From the very first viewing, it became one of my favorite movies, and that hasn't changed. It's a gangster story that tells a Shakespearean tragedy. The bar scene is a masterpiece in every sense, and the ending is still one of the most powerful in film history. The Godfather Part II is even better than the first. It's darker, and through flashbacks, it tells the story of Vito Corleone. Michael fully turns to the dark side, going from someone who wanted nothing to do with the mafia to a cold and ruthless boss. If the ending of the first Godfather is powerful, the second is straight up an emotional stab, heartbreaking and perfect.
Everybody be cool, this is a robbery!
Any of you fucking pricks move! And I'll execute every motherfucking last one of you!
Pulp Fiction was my favorite movie for a long time. I watched it right after Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and from there, I got hooked on cinema and started watching cult films. Every scene in Pulp Fiction is a work of art. Any scene could be someone's favorite because they all have an incredible impact. The soundtrack, the brilliantly developed characters, the non-linear narrative that keeps you in a constant climax. An absolute masterpiece, and one of the most important movies for me. 2001: A Space Odyssey is the greatest cinematic experience ever conceived. When I watched it, I entered a 2.5-hour trance, a feeling I'd never had before. There are no words to describe it. It's a journey through the infinite cosmos and explores the limits of human evolution. It hasn't aged at all. Zero. It's hard to believe it came out in the 60s. The classical music Kubrick uses is unbeatable. The first time I saw it was a trance, but the second time it was one of the most transcendent experiences I've ever had watching a film. Oldboy is my favorite thriller of all time. A man locked up for 15 years seeks revenge, but more than that, answers. The direction is masterful. It keeps you hooked with every shot. The soundtrack is amazing, and the plot twist it delivers is, to me, the greatest of all time. I saw it in theaters during its re-release, and it was an experience that deeply marked me. A Clockwork Orange is one of the movies that has impacted me the most. It was the first unconventional film I ever watched, and I was blown away. With its unique aesthetic, Beethoven's music alongside the original score, Kubrick's direction, everything is perfect. Honestly, I don't even know how to describe what it makes me feel. It's extremely strange, but at the same time fascinating, full of philosophy and a strong critique of society. Mulholland Drive is a full-on sensory experience. The greatness of this film doesn't lie in understanding it, but in what it makes you feel. It has stunning cinematography, a surreal yet totally gripping plot, and legendary performances. It's a journey into the darkest parts of the human mind. The complex narrative and hypnotic atmosphere challenge us as viewers, leaving us with more questions than answers, but it doesn't matter. It pulls you in.
Hey, Ray. Never went down, Ray. You never got me down, Ray.
Raging Bull is one of the most powerful films in cinema history. It's the portrait of a man who, incapable of loving and consumed by hatred and jealousy, loses everything. Devastating, raw, and without moralizing, the film sticks to the brutal facts. The photography and cinematography are unparalleled achievements. Every fight in the ring has its own unique artistic style. And the scene where De Niro lets himself get beaten up is one of the most masterful in film history, full of symbolism and depth.
Do you mind if I sit down?
Paris, Texas, a film I was lucky enough to see for the first time in theaters recently, and it was the best experience I've ever had on the big screen. It's the most immersive and transcendent movie I've ever seen. The story grabs you from the first moment. It features what I consider the best cinematography in film history. Just watch the shots. They are the pinnacle of cinema. The movie shows us a broken man and conveys his nostalgia and melancholy with incredible intensity. Both the scene where the family watches old home videos and the phone booth scene are among my favorite scenes in film history, if not the favorites. It's the movie I've connected with the most, that has fascinated me the most, and possibly one day it will become my favorite. But for now, the film I feel was made exactly for me still is.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
As many of you already know, Goodfellas is my all-time favorite movie. From the very beginning, it's perfect, and yet it keeps getting better, all the way to the incredible final stretch. The dynamic editing, the way the story is told with those unique voiceover lines. Not just the story itself, but the way it's told. Scorsese doesn't just tell a gangster story. He throws us into that world in a frenetic, captivating, brutally real way. I could talk for days about how much this film fascinates me, as I've already done in so many videos. Simply put, it has everything I love in its most perfect form, and that's why it's my favorite film of all time. Thanks for watching the video. Now it's your turn. Let me know your favorite movies in the comments and what you thought of the video. See you soon.